So, the AK-5C, I thought in this weapon review I'd start with a carbine instead of the M16 that you guys wanted me to try out before. I've actually tried that gun out and it's horrible, I don't like it at all. I will review it in a video at some point in the future, but I want to make a massive deal out of it because it's such a big change from Battlefield 3. In this video, I'm going to be implementing some of the feedback that you guys gave me from the first episode. The most notable one will be, there will be some more weapon stats in this video. You guys said that you wanted to know a little bit more about the weapon, so I'll intro some of the stats that I feel relevant, and probably the ones that I'm talking about most. So let's kick into it. The AK-5C is developed in Sweden, it's a carbine, and as the name might suggest, it's a variant of the AK-5. In the game, this is the first carbine that you actually unlock, and the way to do that, you score 15,000 points with the Engineer class. That's the first point worth noting. Now in Battlefield 3, of course, carbines were the set weapons for the Engineer class, so it's kind of a little bit of evolution here that you have to use the Engineer class in order to get to those carbines. The AK-5C offers up a 700 rounds per minute rate of fire, which I found really comfortable to use to start off with. Anything higher and you start spamming bullets all over the place and missing your target, and anything lower I think you start to get beat in close quarter battles too early on. The iron sights on this weapon aren't too bad actually, however I have to say, pretty much with any weapon in Battlefield really, I much prefer it with a sight. And with that thought in mind, I think that's the first thing that we need to discuss. The AK-5C is really good at short to medium range with that medium rate of fire, but don't go for anything too long range because the damage drop off is where it pushes itself onto the back foot. The AK-5C, max damage is 25, pretty much standard across all automatic weapons in Battlefield 4, well, except for the LMGs, but its damage drop off starts at 5 meters, and that's why I said don't go for those long range targets. If you're starting to think at shooting anything at anything longer than about 40 to 50 meters, you're really not using the right gun. It's probably not best to start using this on Paracel Storm and maps like that, or Golmud Railway with really long lanes of sight. It's really something more for the close quarters action of Operation Locker or Zavod 311, especially in the middle of the map, and that's where I found that this thing is most useful. So as I've mentioned a couple of times now, it is really good at short to medium range. Now what are the attachments that you guys should be using to get the most out of this weapon at those ranges? As I stated in my last weapon review, pretty much the attachments are sort of your choice. You can choose whatever you want to put on that weapon to make it perform a little bit differently to how it would with another set of attachments. But for me, I'm always going to go with the lowest powered scope possible for these sort of close range weapons, and for that I've gone with the red dot sight. I did try this weapon out with the holographic sight, but I didn't like it as much. I find the frame is just too thick, and I can actually end up losing my target, especially in close quarter battles. So with the red dot sight, it gives me a little bit of a thinner frame. I'd probably really like to have the Coyote sight on there, but I haven't unlocked the battle pack yet because I've mainly been using the assault rifles. Playing even more to its strengths here, I've equipped it with a laser sight. Now, in Battlefield 4, the laser accuracy, or at least the hip fire accuracy, is much lower than what it was in Battlefield 3, so even equipping a laser sight only makes it sort of half as practical or as half as beneficial as it was in BF3, so you still have to be quite accurate even when hip firing. But when you are playing on those maps with a lot of close quarters battles, a lot of close quarters combat, not really knowing who's going to be around the corner, the laser sight can really help you. And with the situation of the netcode in Battlefield 4 at the moment, it can really help because of course if you're not quick enough to aim down sight and get on target, you can pre-fire around the corner with that laser sight and hopefully you'll get the kill. Now, because the AK-5C has quite a low recoil in the first place, it didn't make any sense to sort of use the angled foregrip on this weapon, so I've gone for the ergo grip. It ties in really well with the laser sight because the ergo grip reduces the penalty of hip fire when you're moving around by like 50%. So the fact that I said that hip firing is much harder in Battlefield 4, you can reduce that by 50% just by adding this grip. And I've been playing around with the barrels quite a lot on this weapon. I've found that probably the muzzle brake is the one that I use most. It's just like the standard one. You could even attach it with nothing and I don't think it would do a huge amount. However, I'd really not recommend putting a suppressor on here because in Battlefield 4 suppressors only reduce the range of the weapon. They don't impede the damage anymore. So the fact that the drop off is at 5 meters for this weapon, you're really going to hinder yourself if you put a suppressor on it. So at the moment, I'm really enjoying using this weapon. Of course, carbines are all kit weapons now, which means you can use it with any of the kits available. And mainly, I've been using it with the engineer kit. It just feels like it fits. But if you're more of an assault player and you want to try and use the carbines, and this is the first one you unlock, of course you can do that. You can equip the carbine on the assault class. You can go sort of aggressive recon with the recon class. And it really does help on the support class because you can sort of run and gun a little bit more than you could with the LMGs. For me, it's a really versatile weapon and it can be used in lots of different situations. However, for me, I feel it works best in the short to medium range combats. Because of its medium rate of fire, that's where I think it works best. Anything longer and you start needing to use something with a lower rate of fire so you can keep yourself on target at all times. And that's about it for this video, guys, so I hope you enjoyed it. If you did, please leave a like, and if you can leave a comment, providing you've now got a Google Plus account, please do. Or if not, come and talk to me on Twitter, there's a link in the description. But until next time, my name is Westy, and I'll catch you guys in the next video.